Что нужно объявить? Не надо ничего объявлять. Так, друзья, на площадке 2-минутная готовность. И доброе утро всем. Друзья, доброе утро еще раз. Минутная готовность на трассе. Немногочисленные зрители не забывают о том, что комментатор опять-таки же в эти соревнования подготовила хорошие призы для лучших болельщиков. И завтра мы обязательно поздравим тех, кто болел все эти дни за выступающих. Так, друзья, ну что ж, у нас стартует второй день соревнований чемпионата мира по ледолазанию. С утра традиционно у нас проходят соревнования в дисциплине трудность. На мужской трассе готовится к старту спортсмен из Республики Казахстан Орлов Вячеслав. Сегодня на полуфинальных соревнованиях работают две трассы. Вчера мы наблюдали с вами 4 трассы, и очень динамичное было зрелище здесь на скалодроме спорткомплекса «Трамплин», когда сразу 4 спортсмена находились на трассах одновременно. Дан старт. Орлов Вячеслав, представляющий Республику Казахстан. В полуфинальных соревнованиях в дисциплине трудность принимают участие 16 мужчин-спортсменов и 12 женщин-спортсменок. Для прохождения препятствий трассы у каждого спортсмена и у мужчин, и у женщин по 8 минут. Продолжаем наблюдать за выступлением спортсмена из Республики Казахстан Орлова Вячеслава. А к женской трассе, к старту, подходит Кирова Полина, Республика
So Orlov fully finished yesterday in last place, achieving a score of 4 and 6, respectively. So, on the girls, we've got Polina Obakarova, also from Kazakhstan. She is about to begin her attempt, and she will have 8 minutes also. Orlov straight into big four as he tackles that ice bollard. Paulina begins her ascent. Orlov is off. Looks like he just fell on that hanging ice. He was wrestling to try and get into the fig four, and it seemed like he had the position, and then he was reaching up for the next move. Meanwhile, it's now the turn of Paulina Obakirova.
На женской трассе, которая у нас слева, стартовала Абубакирова Полина.
Also from Almaty, the foothills of the Tian Shan Mountains. Now, she was competing last month in Tehran. So she's fairly on form, in condition, and she was 9th in Tehran, and she won the speed. That was at the Asia Cup. Clearly a very capable athlete. Matches hands there. You can just sense the body tension. Quite awkward with the tool off to one side. Doesn't look like a place you really want to spend too much time. Just losing her feet. A little bit insecure there with her feet. She got the next hold. Just sorting out the quick draws and she's off. That is the end for Paulina Obakirova. Not entirely sure what exactly happened there. Just looked like she almost tired and just jumped off. So she had a little bit of a Z-clip situation. She was trying to reach and just it was the left that popped. So those are the first two attempts we've just seen from both Kazakhstan athletes. Next up in the men, it should be Eno Robert Seragai. So Vyacheslav Orlov, her score 7.110 is the score to beat. But now all the way from Hungary is this man, Eno Robert Seragai. Making his debut on the World Tour, aged just 17. He has 8 minutes, which begins now.
Старту на женскую трассу приглашается Богдан Валерия, Российская Федерация.
It's great to see that some athletes have managed to travel far and wide to make it here in Kirov. Travel restrictions, of course, do make it very difficult. But Robert is one of a handful of athletes who've managed to come from Europe. So he almost effortlessly works through the first quick draws. Just goes into a reverse grip. There. Just it's a little bit less taxing when you hold the tool with your thumb pointing towards the bottom. Just engages your lat muscles on your back rather than your bicep muscles. Seragai just trying to get that Stein with the left. Now this looks like Valeria Bogdan has begun her ascent. Valeria Bogdan, she's not quite as confident or as successful in lead. An absolute dynamo on an ice wall. She was competing last weekend in Tumen at the World Youth Championships, and she came 5th in the bouldering, which is more or less equivalent to lead. Seragai struggling to reach that hold. Shakes off the arm. Has he got it? Big reach there from a Hungarian athlete. Bogdan, meanwhile, cruising up this first section of the route. Very tricky, though. Trying to climb as high as she can, but maintaining that body tension. See if she can get the next quick draw. Has she got the height? She has. She's on the... Not quite. She got it. She has now. So that already gives her a score of 5. It is, of course, the quick draws that give you the points in lead. That's what determines your ranking. It's always a dilemma for athletes. You can become a little bit fixated by the need to clip the next quick draw. But the optimum place to do so is when it's at waist height, not when it's... and Seragai's off. He has popped. And that begins... That ends, rather, his attempt. So his right arm just ripped there. He just didn't quite have it. So he will end up with a score of 5 point something. We shall have to wait just to see what the confirmation of that is. Meanwhile, we're back with Valeria Bogdan, looking to get into tomorrow's finals. A great effort there from the 17-year-old. Still very young. Bogdan is not that old either. She's still only 20 years old. And an absolute dynamo in speed climbing. Finished up last year on the World Tour, 2nd place. I think 1 China, 2nd in Korea, and 3rd in Saas-Fee. But lead is a bit more challenging for her. Her best place last year was 5th. She hasn't got the height there. She needs to move her feet, get a little bit higher on that hold. So she grabs the tool a little bit higher up. Athletes can choose between 3 grips on the tool. Matches with the right. She's going to try and reach up with the... Still doesn't have it. Nope. She's going to have to go down. Think again. Work it out. And this is part of the game with this sport. It's not just brute, thuggish strength. It's really tactical. It's all about thinking, working out the move, getting your feet in the right place. And in theory, these moves you will have worked out during observation. She's got it. Obviously a very strong athlete, Valeria Bogdan. So just seeing the scores there for the men so far. Orlov and Seragai. Don't expect them to stay in numbers 1 and 2 for very long. Not when you got people like Mohammad Reza Safdarian in the lineup. Oh, what a joy to see him here. Absolute legend of the sport. He'll be coming up last, I believe, because he qualified. He had the best score from qualification. So Bogdan has made it to the hanging ice. Just need to place your tools into the holes here. No swinging required. Going into the roof now. Into the figure of 9. That is same leg, same arm, and then swings round to the figure of 4. And she makes the next quick draw. So far, an impressive performance from Valeria Bogdan. Just out of shot, it looks like Volodymyr Kaidash has begun his ascent. 31-year-old athlete from Ukraine. Lots of cheers for Valeria. You can hear the shouts of Dabai, Dabai. Russian for go, go, go. Keep going. Gets into that fig 9. And that position is one you deploy when really there's nothing for the feet. And it allows you to just weight the ice axe, make it more secure. And sometimes it can help make the next move to reach a little bit higher. Fighting. Bogdan is fighting. Looking a little bit tired. But still going strong. Can she go all the way? Needs to be in the top 8 if she wants to be in tomorrow's finals. And she's off. That is the end of the semi-finals for Valeria Bogdan. Will it be enough to get her place into tomorrow's finals? She seems happy. Big smile there. See her there wrestling with that ice bollard. Just looked like she ran out of strength, just didn't have it. Just from another view. Interesting, she's an athlete who puts the tool over the shoulder. Not all of them like to do that. More of a risk of the tool falling. You'll see most athletes on the World Tour prefer to pop it in the mouth, which takes some getting used to. Right. So we are now with this man, Volodymyr Kaidash, from Ukraine, from Odessa. Haven't seen him on the World Tour for a few years. Now he moves up into the roof. Very strenuous climbing here to get around that. Very demanding on the upper body strength. forearms of these athletes. The anaerobic strength there is next level. He just makes a long reach for that 9th quick draw. That doesn't put him yet. Yes, that should put him into the lead. So we're just seeing Valera Bogdan's score, 11.230. All the results. That's his attempt over. Gives a wave, acknowledges the crowd. Just trying to get round, ran out of strength. You could almost see the life just draining out of those forearms. Natalia Kulikov, now here is an interesting athlete. She's 51 years old, and when she was competing 20 years ago, before some of these athletes were even born. So we haven't seen her in a long time. And by the way she's climbing now, she seems like she's still got it. So Kulikov was competing back in the really early days of the Ice Climbing World Cup, 2002, against athletes like Ines Papert. She won the women's speed way back in 2001.
Мужская трасса готовы? На мужскую трассу к старту приглашается Макаджевич Милан, Сербия.
So she's effortlessly working through the opening sequence of this women's route. Oh, and she's off. Don't know what happened there. She was looking very confident, climbing well. Did her right. She just slightly adjusted her foot, and maybe the weight just knocked her balance. Looks like an intellect hold, yet she just moved her right foot, stood up a little bit, and then that shifted the balance of that right tool placement. Still, not bad to be competing still at the age of 51. She's the oldest athlete here this weekend. So Milan Makosevic is next up in the men. All the way from Serbia. His 8 minutes begins now. 29 years old. He's got a reverse grip there on that. Looks like an intellect. Just checks it's good. Now he's an athlete who puts the tool in the mouth.
На женскую трассу приглашена спортсменка из Чехии, Лужецка Анета.
So just seeing the preliminary scoreboard for the moment. Kaidash is the man to beat. then Orlov and Seragai from Hungary. High score 9.1. Just on that roof section. Rocking some groovy tunes at the venue. Nice traditional Russian music. So women's semis, scoreboard currently Valeria Bogdan in numero uno position. But it will be unlikely to look like that by the end of the day. Especially with some of the female talent yet to come. Among them, Maria Tolokonina, Yulia Filatova, and some of the great names of the Russian climbing team. So, just starting in the bottom left there is Aneta Luzheka. Fantastic to see her climbing here. She was competing last weekend in Tumen at the Youth Championships and was so happy with her third place in the bouldering. Really great to see her dedication rewarded. He reaches up into that Stein hold, where you place the tool upside down, pull down so that its head is flush against the wall. Super secure. So Luzheka was just over the moon last weekend. First time on the podium. Great to see. She also competed every stop last year on the World Tour, but her best place was a 21st in China. Now we're looking at Macevic. Just taking his time. Reverse grip with the left. Shake out the right, and then move those feet. Luzheka, quick draw number 5. Luzheka needs to get past Bogdan's high point of number 11. Is where she needs to get to move to the top. Of course, it's the first 8 athletes who go through to tomorrow's finals. So it's not just about, the pressure's a little bit off. Just got to be in the top 8. Luzheka hasn't quite got that hold. Just tries to adjust her feet. Get into another position. Rest. Matches with the tools. Goes for the move. Commits now. Changes the grip. Has she got it? She found that little sweet spot. She has. Perfect demonstration how to work through the moves. Matches with the right. Now comes the fun part. Onto that hanging ice. Obviously, the hold, the pick placement is absolutely bomber. 100% secure, but it moves. So that creates some instability in your body, bringing with it some challenges to maintaining body position. And Milan is off. Didn't see what happened exactly to him. Rest. He went for a little bit of a dyno, quite a risky move, probably not something you want to lunge at. I think we'll see some of the athletes who come don't just go for a dyno there, they will be able to just reach and place that hold. So Luzheka into the roof, going through the moves now to get over this steeply overhanging part of the route. Oh, she's done well to cling on there. Just got to try and get herself back under control. Ooh, she's done well that for her pick to just stay. It could have come off there. It could have so easily just ripped. The gods are on her side right now. Gets that 9th quick draw. That already puts her into 2nd place. So it's just the bottom 4 athletes who do not go through to the women's finals. So as long as she can just be in that top 8, she'll be secure. She's starting to approach the high point that Bogdan reached. Bogdan got a score of 11.2. I mean, she got the 11th quick draw and she got the 23rd hold. Kulikov, meanwhile, way back, just the 5th quick draw. And Obakarivov, 4.07. So we're watching Aneta Luzheka, 20-year-old from the Czech Republic. Really committed competition climber. She was at every tour stop last year, and she's been at every tour stop this year. Everyone that you're allowed or have been able to get to. That's quite a feat in itself. So we saw her in Champagny and last weekend in Tumen. So climbers have 8 minutes and the clock is counting. Still a way to go for the top, but this will put her in a very good place indeed. She's now at the same point as Valeria Bogdan. If she can just get that next quick draw before the clock runs out, she will go into the top of the leaderboard. You can see that the strength is draining from her. One last effort. She's got it. Just allows a little shake of the arm. Try and recover some strength. When the fatigue sets in, it is your hands ultimately that go. You're simply unable to hold on to your tool. And there's nothing you can do. And it's just like that. It's all over. She just got her crampon caught on the rope. She seems pretty happy with that. We may have a little bit of a delay while the safety marshals go fishing for an ice axe. Just left her tool behind, so we'll have to wait until someone will have to knock that off with a big pole. Great performance there from Aneta Luzheka. So Tamas Fulep from Sweden, another slightly older athlete, 49 years old. And an absolute inspiration. So you might think, being 49, that Fulep has been around for years and years, but it's not true at all. In fact, the first time he held a pair of ice axes was 2016. And he just decided that he wanted to do this sport and compete and be in the top 10. That's his goal. Attempting the impossible, living my dream, and doing epic stuff in the process. That's his Instagram profile. My goal, he writes, is to become a top athlete at the age of 48. Well, he's 49, so he slightly overshot his goal. But here he is, competing on the world tour at the age of 49, which is not bad at all. So just seeing the leaderboard there on the left, and the current high point is 9.12 by Vladimir Kaidash, the Ukrainian athlete, just where it got steeply overhanging on that roof. So Fulep has been competing for a few years on the world and European tour. Probably not fair to list his results. He's normally at the bottom of the rankings. But the commitment can't be faulted. So you see him make that move that Makojevic tried to do with a dyno. It's really not a dyno at all. Just got to get the feet in the right place and reach over. So Fulep looking very confident here. Just works through those fig 4, figure 9 combinations to shuffle around. Can he get the next quick draw? That's what he is wondering right now. Can I get it? Can I reach? He's starting to hurt, though. You can see it on his face. No, he's off. Round of applause from the crowd gathered below.
Давайте, не жалейте аплодисментов. Аплодисменты пока в нашей стране тоже бесплатные абсолютно.
He tried. He looked at the hold, but he just didn't have the strength to go any further. But a fine performance there from the Swedish athlete.
Ну и думайте над моим вопросом, как связана древняя столица Швеции и город Вятка, Kirov.
So, Alexandra Ovchenkova is who we're looking at next. Part of Team Russia. So, the high point is point reached by Lusheka. So, the 12th quick draw, where she's got to get to move to the top of the rankings. But she just needs to stay in the top 8 to get through to tomorrow's finals. Make sure you set your calendars for that. 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, local time, for the lead finals, men and women. At 7 a.m. UST. Awkward moves there
Друзья, я понимаю так, что зрителей становится побольше. Филейка форела. Всегда наши соревнования вызывают живой непосредственный интерес у кировчан. Второй день проходят соревнования чемпионата мира по ледолазанию. 13 стран прислали своих спортсменов и представителей сюда, в Киров.
So Anton Yemov begins his
Спорткомплекса «Трамплин».
ascent. We often see Anton competing in lead. Normally he trains just for lead, just focuses on speed. And he is the speed maestro. Two-time Speed World Cup champion. But dethroned in Champagny back in January by the young pretender, the young challenger, Danila Bikulov. He's using his hand there to maintain his balance. Sometimes you'll see climbers doing that, employing a little bit of rock climbing technique, using a hand, especially some of the younger climbers. Anton goes for that undercling. Incredible core stability is required to maintain the stability there. Meanwhile, Ovchenkova is now moving up through the ice. Interestingly, she's putting her feet in the bollard. We haven't seen athletes do that. Seems to be working for her. Anton, meanwhile, working his way through ice bollard on the men's route. Ovchenkova just crosses over there. It's a little bit of an awkward move. Reaching over across her body. Yemov now at the men's high point, where Kaidash fell. He looks like he has every intention of getting past this roof. Didn't on the first attempt. He's going for attempt number 2. Can't afford to take too many times. Chenkov looks like she is now off. Niemov is at the roof. At this steeply overhanging section. We're just going to see what happened to Ovchenkova. Anton Yemov lunging now. Absolutely just lunging for that high hold. 2 in succession. Before he has to regroup, rethink, collect his thoughts, collect what remaining strength he has left in his arms. I should imagine that there's still quite a reservoir of strength in those arms. He is a phenomenal athlete. But has he got enough in the tank to make another attempt? Yes, he's got it. It sticks. There he is. He'll be happy. Hanging off one arm. Quickly gets his feet into that plywood and get over that steeply overhanging roof. So he'll be looking to get that next quick draw. Very sharpish. Gets it. Has he got it? There we go. You can always tell when athletes are a little bit tired. They just take a little bit longer to get the rope into the gate. Not quite the dexterity in their hands and fingers. So Anton Yemov's place in tomorrow's finals is looking pretty good as he moves up into first place on the leaderboard.
На женскую трассу приглашается следующая участница полуфинальных соревнований в дисциплине трудность Астахова Анастасия, Российская Федерация.
Oh, lost his feet there. Can he maintain? Can he get back on the route? It will be heroic if he does. Shakes out his arm, and he does. Oh, that was close. That was really close. And it's a measure of his strength and ability that he managed to get back on there. Whether he can actually go any higher on the route, that remains to be seen. And he will have lost some considerable strength with that. He's got the next hold. The crowd are going wild. Gives the left arm a big shake. It is required to do some heavy lifting for the next move. Just matches with the hands, just swapping them out, just trying to get the blood flow back into them as far as that's even possible at this stage in the route. The clock will be running down now. He's got that 11th quick draw, though. Goes into the figure of four, onto this hanging pillar of ice. Hanging off one arm again. Doing a pull-up through his tool. Can he do it? Can he get onto this bollard? Amazing effort from Anton Yemov. An absolute storming virtuoso performance here from this Russian speed legend. He must be getting tired now. But still, he is carrying on, working through the moves, inching his way up. And that is the time up for Anton Yemov. He is worked. You can see how out of breath he is. Fantastic performance there from Anton Yemov, who now moves into top position on the men's leaderboard in today's semi-finals. So we're now looking at Anastasia Ashtakova, making her debut on the World Tour. "22 years old, which by Russian standards is quite old. It's not uncommon to find 19, 20-year-old athletes who've been competing 6 or 7 years on the youth circuit. Anastasia Ashtakova. There's the female leaderboard as it stands at the moment, with Aneta Luzheka, Valeria Bogdan, and Ovchegova in the current 1, 2, 3 positions. But it's the top 8 that counts. You just don't want to be in the bottom 4. Ashtakova looking pretty steady as she gets onto this now overhanging section of the route past these ice bollards. Just wants to get her feet into nice secure position. Goes into the figure of 4 there and reaches up right with onto that intellect hold. Seeing the men's rankings off to the left. She's lost her footing. Can she do an Anton Yemov and get back on? Got her right foot in. The left is in. She did very well to recover from that as well. And continue the move. Onto, can she get number 10? Into quick draw number 10 for Anastasia Ashtakova. Now that looks like Nikolai Primarov beginning his semi-finals climb. Originally from Russia, of course, but now based out of Switzerland. We're just staying with Ashtakova here. Wrestling now. Got onto, can she get onto this ice pillar? Doesn't look like the most comfortable position she is in there. Definitely helps if you have the flexibility of a yoga guru. That suppleness. Getting all these bendy positions. But you also need the strength. Apologise for just having a little bit of technical glitch with some of the screen outage. Yeah, the internet doesn't like the cold. It's been pretty chilly here, but not as cold as it was last weekend. Let me tell you, in Tumen, it was minus 30. That is properly cold. So really, by Russian standards, a mere minus 14 is, wow, pretty balmy, really. So here we are. Semi-finals. The UIAA Ice Climbing World Cup here in Kirov, Russia. The last tour stop of the season and the only World Tour stop of the season in this very curtailed season due, of course, to the COVID pandemic. But just brilliant, amazing from everyone involved to have made this event go ahead at all. I'm not giving anything away by revealing that there have been some question marks over the last few months, what form it would take. So we are aware of some technical issues we're having at the moment with the footage. Stay with us, bear with us. We are working very hard to correct that. So we're looking at Nikolai Primarov on the right. And this is Anastasia Astakova finishing her climb. A great effort there from the young 22-year-old Russian athlete. She was at the end of her time on this. Just on that steeply overhanging roof. We'll give her a score of 13, however. And that should be enough to get her into tomorrow's finals. So we're back with Nikolai Primarov, 38 years old. He's been competing for a very long time. First competed in 2007. And he won a gold on his first outing. It's in the speed discipline, not lead. Unfortunately for Primarov, he hasn't quite managed to maintain that form. But that must have been fantastic. First outing, I'll take the gold, thank you. Still at the top of his game, though. Look at the precision there, the placement as he got that Kruganogi hold. Just got to get the pick in exactly the right position, weight it. Goes for the reverse grip there. With the right, moves over to the left. And into that figure of 4 to reach and get intellect. Gets quick draw number 12. No, he doesn't. Doesn't quite manage it. He's already gone higher than Niemov's high point, so he takes the lead with that move. Looking very strong from Nikolai Primarov. Just working his hands up shaft of his ice axe there on that Kruganogi. And then scores a direct hit with the intellect hold. Very efficient. Just lost his left foot there. That can be very, very risky. He's looking up. Is he thinking, can I top this? Made quick draw number 14. Reaches high with the left. The camera angle isn't quite doing justice to how steeply overhanging this is. It's really strenuous on the arms. And the whole body, really. The fact he's going into a figure 4 there just shows how overhanging it really is. Big shouts. Oh, loses both ice axes. Great performance there from Nikolai Primarov. And he's absolutely exhausted. So that climb should take him top of the leaderboard for the men's lead category. It just looked like he got his pick stuck there on the right. So this is Irina Nikitina beginning. Clearly Primarov, no strength left to undo the knot. So Nikitina, 42 years old. Already at quick draw number 6 onto that bollard of hanging ice. With its pre-drilled holes. Obviously, in these temperatures, that's in pretty good condition. If the ice breaks, it's not a technical incident. You can't complain. It's all part of the fun. A little bit of Russian roulette element almost. But I don't think athletes will be having any troubles with the ice today. But if it fractures, that's just hard luck, really. All part of the game. On the other hand, if a screw-in hold, one of these plastic or metal holds, should break or spin, yes, that would be legitimate grounds for a technical incident. So just looking at the women's leaderboard at the moment. So it's Ashtakova, who's currently in numero uno position, Aneta Luzheka in second, and Valeria Bogdan currently in the third. But more, and over on the men's, it's Nikolai Primarov, Anton Yemov, and it is Vladimir Kaidash in third place. But it's really the bottom of the rankings that we want to be paying close attention to. And in the women, it is Polina Obakarova and Natalia Kulikov, who will be sitting back in the isolation area with rather chewing their fingernails, feeling a little bit nervous because they're the ones who are likely to be dropped. Currently sitting at the bottom of the women. And in the men's rankings, it's Eno Robert Seragai from Hungary and Milan Makojevic, who will be hoping that they are not overtaken by the athletes to come through. So we are looking at Irina Nikitina, 42-year-old athlete. She goes from the structure onto the hanging ice. Bit of ice just chipped away with her feet there. It does come away. There is that mental satisfaction when you get onto the ice. The holds are just so good. You can at least relax a little bit. You have the security of the hold. You know that your arm is not gonna, your axe isn't gonna rip out. That said, the situation of the fact that it's hanging and it's moving and swaying from side to side, I mean, it's just so much more unstable. So they're kind of pros and cons. You think, great, I've got a good hold. Oh, it's really unstable and super difficult to move. And really just nowhere for your feet. So that's why you see athletes putting a leg over an arm. If they don't do that, they're literally just hanging on your ice axes, which is no fun at all. Now it looks like Ilya Kuruchkin is over there, having just romped up the first part of the structure. 20-year-old, but absolute veteran. He's one of the athletes I was mentioning earlier who you think they're quite young at age 20, but in fact, he's been competing for almost a decade. Almost a decade he's been competing on the youth circuit. And he's won the youth championships twice. But it looks like we've lost Nikita. Nikitina just being ushered to one side by one of the judges. Doesn't want to be in the firing line for when that ice axe comes down. It's quite sharp and pointy, and yes, if it lands on you, it will hurt. There has been some discussion within the sport about having safety equipment, perhaps protective padding, but more in the context of speed rather than lead. So Ilya Kuruchkin is now hoping to get over this roof. This is where Nemov struggled. And he's also struggling a little bit. Didn't really get a good look to see how Nikolai Primarov got over this. So slowing it down. He's got to get into a good swing. He gets it. And just so carefully gets that 10th quick draw. He'll be a happy man. So there we're getting a look at the men's leaderboard with Nikolai Primarov looking in a very secure position. Nemov, Kaidash, Orlov, even Fulep. It'd be great to see him in the finals. Mikojevic and Seragai. 5th and 6th position, respectively. But Mikojevic and Seragai could be expect to fall off that when we get the next climbers coming through. Still another 8 climbers to have their attempt.
Итак, еще раз уточнюсь. К старту на женской трассе готовится Филатьева Юлия, Российская Федерация. На мужской трассе продолжает выступление Курочкин Илья.
Ilya was also competing last weekend in Tumen. 3rd place in the under-21s. There was no lead, interestingly, last weekend. It was a bouldering category, which is slightly different. Not quite bouldering, not quite lead. The route was longer than a bouldering route, shorter than a traditional lead route, and it's on a top rope, so there's no clipping of quick draws because it's also youth games. A bit safer. Kuruchkin, just watching him here as he gets that Kruger Nogi. See that it hasn't quite the rope. He's got a little bit of rope drag just where the roof is. You can see where the rope is slightly caught, and he's got to untangle that. He gets it. And then doesn't waste any time now. Going for quick draw number 14. He's got to get to 15, above 50, well, really to 16 to get beyond Primarov's high point. And he's done well to stay. Doesn't quite manage to stay. Good recovery. I think that's one of the best recoveries I've ever seen.
Друзья, аплодисменты для Курочкина Ильи. Спортсмен закончил выступление на женской трассе. Филатьева Юлия.
So he gets the left pick in. And just almost, but no. So that's it for Ilya Kuruchkin. Meanwhile, Yulia Filatova from Russia, very, very strong athlete. We can expect some impressive things from her. 20 years old. Already at the 6th quick draw on the women's route. She needs to get beyond quick draw number 13 to move into the top slot. Already looking like she is on form. She had a great weekend. Last weekend in Tumen, first in the boulder, second in speed. We're looking at an athlete at the top of her game. Reaches up and gets that 9th quick draw.
На мужскую трассу приглашается участник Лущенко Иван, Российская Федерация.
Goes into the figure of 9, tool in the mouth. Just the feet, then switches over, figure of 4, allowing her to reach up with the right. Places that pick perfectly first time. Always important. You really don't want to be wasting time fishing around trying to get that little spot. All about efficiency of movement, economy of movement. There we go. Isaac's nicely placed over on the left. She's now looking ahead to hanging ice. Look how quickly she got that quick draw. Just one little snap, in it goes. Effortlessly now moves onto the hanging ice. Let's see how she surmounts this. So far, so good from Yalia Filatova. She goes from one bollard of hanging ice to the next. Reaches up into the figure of 9. Matches with the hands. Switches to the figure of 4. Did it enough to get the next quick draw. Absolute display of vertical gymnastics here. That's Ivan Lushenko beginning his route in the men's category. But we're staying with Yulia Filatova as she struggles to surmount the hanging ice before getting onto that last steeply overhanging ramp to the top. We haven't seen a top yet today. Could Filatova be the one to make it all the way? Of course, she can't think along those lines herself. Just needs to focus on the next move. And she's lost it. So she will be lowered down and then ushered to one side. We see what happened here. Is it the right? Is it that right leg? Yeah, she just twisted, and you saw the crampon on her right boot just came out of its grip, and just came out, just popped, ripped. Got to be able to do those body twists while keeping the crampon point in the plywood. So Ivan Lushenko, 19-year-old from Russia. Second last weekend in Tumen. Oh, that was a big hold. Gets it second time. There's a little hang on the arm. Not a big drama for this athlete. So we saw Lushenko in Champagny in January. Came 5th in the lead against some very strong athletes. including the French, who, of course, aren't here today, sadly. Just pulls through in the hands, matches with the right, with that little reverse grip as he gets onto the ice now for Ivan Lushenko. He came second in last weekend's bouldering final. Struggled a little bit with the quick draw there, but he's got it, and he's moving up on through the hanging ice. Just pulling through on the rope. Can he get that quick draw? Bit of a long reach, but he gets it.
Дорогие зрители, прямо оттуда, где вы находитесь, можно аплодировать, свистеть, кричать, выражать свои эмоции абсолютно открыто.
Little bit of a rest. Tries to get into the optimum position before reaching over onto that Kruganogi on the right. Just hooks his tool over the side. Quite a nice way to place your tool. Secure. And reaches up right, and he's got that intellect hold now. Matches with the left. Moves up onto the next Kruganogi. Lushenko looking very good right now. Very strong indeed. Oh, he's got a bit of rope drag as well. Second athlete to suffer there. Decides to carry on without. Now, he's in an even worse position. He will have to come down. I wonder if he'll raise an incident here. Can he get it? He pulls it through. Now, rope drag is normally just part of the package. It's not a technical incident unless it's a fault of the belayer, which in this case it is not. So you can't raise a technical incident with that. But you could try. But it would be down to the judges. He's the second athlete there to have lost valuable time and energy with rope drag. Higher you get, of course, the heavier the rope becomes. Still, he goes on, ever upwards. Ivan Lushenko. Quick draw, number 15. He's already close to Nikolai Primarov's high point. They're shouting Dabai, Dabai from below. He's got the hold. Swinging around now like a circus performer. Amazing strength to be able to do that after having climbed for several minutes. And he gets quick draw number 16. That puts Ivan Lushenko into the number 1 spot on today's semi-finals. Oh, he's happy. That's almost certainly guarantees his spot in tomorrow's finals.
Воспитанница Кировской школы ледолазания. Поддержали землячку, друзья мои!
So we're now looking at Irina Dubotseva, young 19-year-old athlete. She also came second in last weekend's women's bouldering. Reaches up high with the right into the figure 9. Gets her left foot back on the structure. Right goes over the left into the 4. And that leaves her right arm free to move across and get the next move onto the next hanging pillar of ice. But she's at the end of her strength or the clock. Either way, her attempt is now over. For Dubotseva.
На мужскую трассу к старту приглашается Карандашев Александр.
Just waiting for her score to be updated. .27, which puts her into 3rd place on the leaderboard for now. She'll be happy with that. That is a place in tomorrow's finals. Now, those crash mats, you're wondering, they're just for opening moves. Just the start. So, it's Alexander Karandashev about to begin his chance to get into tomorrow's lead finals. The bar is now set pretty high by his teammate, Ivan Leshenko. He's got his hoodie on, gives an idea that it's still pretty cold out there this morning. Just checks with the left hand to see that his tool is correctly placed. Goes into the stein, a very high stein, and then pulls through, absolutely bomber. Working through these opening moves really well. And that's really what you want to do when you start at a route you come on. You're naturally very nervous, a little bit sort of short of breath perhaps. And it's just really important to just have a satisfactory start. Just get your breathing under control. Relax, get into the climb, enjoy it. The French Ludovin brothers are famous for that. They absolutely sprint up the opening sequences of moves, of routes. And generally, as a rule, climbers will try and move quickly through the opening sequences. And then the downside is it can leave you absolutely gasping for breath a little bit further up when it all catches up with you. A minute and a half gone for Karandashev. So we can probably expect great things from Karandashev. He competed in every tour stop on the World Tour last year. His was 13th in China, 14th in Korea, and 11th in Sasfei. Reaches over onto that hanging bollard of ice. Crosses the arms. Ooh, big move outright. Didn't quite stick it first time. Gets it second. Big kick there with the left and the right. So Katerina Vlasova on the left. Very big name, legendary name even, in ice climbing circles. Been competing for several years. Vlasova. And Ekaterina Vlasova is the first of the female athletes who topped both routes yesterday in the qualification round. But we're looking at Karandashev now as he tries to surmount this roof. Just swaps arms there. Shakes out. Gets the goal here really is to try and get as high as he can. Get into a good swinging position. That left pick wobble, I would be very concerned with that if I were him. Swaps hands. You only get a few chances at this before you have to stop, regroup, try and recover some strength. It gets into that high figure of four. The knee is as close to the hand as possible, but his accuracy is not there. He's way off. And that pick is just swinging all over the place. Doesn't look too secure. But he's going for it again. The trouble is, and I think it's all not looking good for Karandashev here. He's certainly wasting so much energy. It'll cost him dearly. Even if he does get over this, if he is able to get that next hold, it will cost him further up the route. One last effort. Let's see. Can he do it? His accuracy, he's just hasn't got the accuracy there. He's got the height, just. But he's flailing around like a drunkard. Better. He had the height then, just didn't quite have the accuracy. Vlasova, meanwhile, effortlessly working through the upper section of the female. Karandashev is not giving up. He is one determined athlete, and a lesser athlete would have come off by now. It is a measure, actually, of his strength that he's still attached to this structure. Can he do it? Just can't seem to get it. Dabai, Dabai, we are hearing from below. There's no other Russian word that you know. You will certainly become acquainted with that here in Kirov. Vlasova onto the hanging ice, working through the moves. Karandashev is still in the game. He is not quitting. Yes, he sticks it. Amazing effort there of tenacity and determination from this Russian athlete. He's managed to get that hold. However, the cost of it will be dear, both in time and strength, but it gets him a little bit higher on the scoreboard, and he will be very happy with that. Just got a little bit higher. Looks like he's had a little bit of a quick draw situation. The rope catching on shaft of his tool. No. And that's what happened. He expended all his energy on that hold. And then nothing left in the tank for the moves further up the route. But what a master display of determination there from Karandashev. Meanwhile, Vlasova. Now, despite taking a year out a couple of years ago to start a family, she's back at the top of her game, having come third in Champagne in France, back in Chamonix. And that should put her into the lead of today's women, guaranteeing her place in tomorrow's final. She seems pretty happy. Just waiting for the scoreboard to update. We'll forgive the judges if they're a little bit slow. They have to take their gloves off to update the iPad with the results before they go live onto the screen. So we're just seeing the men's leaderboard there. So Vlasova, great performance there. She puts on her jacket. Back inside to warm up for her. Next up in the men is Georgi Duplinski, 34 years old. Now he came 15th in Chamonix. Russians were there in force this year, which is good to see. They weren't too troubled by all the COVID restrictions. I think the trick was you had to go through Switzerland to get into France and then do 10 days of quarantine. It was a great bit of action there in that lovely French resort of Chamonix. And if you haven't already, head over to the results and to find the live stream on our YouTube channel, where you can see all the action from Champagne-en-Vanoise. So Duplinski, he's also got his hood up. Still a bit cold for athletes, but at least the sun is out. And it's not as cold as last weekend. -30. I mean, that is so cold. You have to keep blinking or your eyes just sort of freeze shut. So on the women's, yes, we're seeing that Kulikov is sadly out, and also Obakarova sadly out. They do not make the finals. So it looks like an all-Russian lineup, apart from Aneta Luzheka, who is still in place. Tomorrow's finals. They kick off at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. Local time, that is. Now, for the men, it looks like it's Seragai and Makojevic, who are sadly out for them. Tamas Fulep hanging in there at the moment, but it will be very unlikely that he remains in the finals lineup for tomorrow. We can expect him to fall out as the male climbers come through. Still a few big names to come through. So looking at Georgi Duplinsky, 34 years old. And he's there. Held my breath for a moment. It's never a good sign when you see athletes just hanging from one arm. Normally, they all do move very quickly to get some feet kicked firmly into the plywood. So he has a little bit of a rest. Now, this is really the crux, the first major crux of this route. It's such a big reach. And with that lower tool sort of bouncing and dancing around on that lower hold. He's taking his time just to size up the challenge that lies ahead. If you haven't seen Karandashev's go at this, rewind and have a look, because that was just heroic. Heroic. He had about 10 attempts to do this particular move. Duplinsky's already had a few goes. So just swaps out the arms, just trying to rest the arm. Trying to kind of gather as much strength as you can before you commit to the move. He's going with his left arm, interestingly. Most athletes going with the right. Does he know something they don't? Or do they know something he doesn't? Had the height that time. It was closest he's come. And he's off again. Duplinsky trying to get this reachy hold, and he sticks. He's got it. Trying to get that right foot in, matches with the right, and steps up very quickly. Maintains his body position there. Quickly swivels the hips around. Right boot in. Left over the right arm into what's called the figure of four. And effortlessly moves up. He's not hanging around. Gets that 10th quick draw. So he's already into the top 6 now. It's not secure. He's hanging off one arm again. Gets himself back up. Relax. He's got his left ice axe into that absolute bomber hold, but can't hang around for long. Although the hold is absolutely bomber, not going anywhere. Unfortunately, what happens is the hands and the forearms just haven't got the strength to hold on. And the tool is secure, it stays there. And what happens is the hands come undone. So mixed blessings to get onto the hanging ice. Just really taxes your tension, your body position, control. It's here really where your core stability So important. So onto this second roof now for Duplitsky. He's got that intellect hold with the right. He'll be wanting to move into the sun, I should imagine. Gets that Kruganogi. Well, he's probably warmed up a little bit now, I should think. Great day here in Kirov. Beautiful city. Got a lovely view from the top. This structure you can't really see, but it's underneath a ski jump. An old dilapidated ski jump. It was around back in the 1950s, Soviet era. You can see the wooden steps off there to the right. But the structure's been reinforced for ice climbing. And it is a training venue all year round. Linsky just still in there. And that was time out for Yurgi Duplinsky. And that climb should see him go through to tomorrow's finals. Vadim Maltchikov is the next of the men to climb. Belayers do a thankless job all day long, making sure the climbers are safe. Small army of volunteers who make this event happen. So a big shout out to them, all the judges and belayers and officials, and of course the Russian Federation who organize this event. Do an amazing job, particularly with all the restrictions and challenges that the COVID pandemic places. So we're waiting for Vadim Maltchikov in the men. Still waiting for Maria Tolokonina and Daria Glotova in the women still to come. That's Aneta Luzheka just back there. You can always spot her. She's got a little pink pom-pom on her helmet. Normally, of course, you'd see hundreds of spectators here. So this looks like Maltchikov.
На мужской трассе готовится к старту Мальчуков Вадим, Российская Федерация.
So his 8 minutes begins now. Maltchikov was another of the Russian athletes who made it to Chamonix in January. And he left that with an 11th place in the lead. Didn't make the finals on that occasion. And a 5th in the speed. So he will be hoping today that he gets into the finals. Certainly, if yesterday's performance is anything to go by, he stands a very good chance. is one of 5 athletes to top both routes in the qualification round. And the first climber we're seeing today who topped both routes. Still 4 more athletes to come after him. Nothing is certain in this game. So he needs to get above the 7th quick draw to get into, to guarantee, to at least have a chance for the finals. And most likely really above, he needs to get above Karandashev in 6th place, because after him comes Kuzovlev, Zinoviev, and Mohammad Reza Safdarian, and they can all expect to do well. So he needs to get really to be safe up into perhaps 11th quick draw. But one step at a time. He doesn't know anything, having just come from isolation. Just needs to focus on the present move. That's all climbers can do. Focus on the immediate surroundings, the immediate problem, and let the results take care of themselves. So, just reaches over for that right hold. That looks like an intellect hold to get back onto the structure off the hanging ice. And now it's the fun. How will Maltchikov handle this? This is the scene where it's been a little bit troubling for some of the athletes so far. He's going with the right arm and he sticks it first time. He'll be happy with that and be blissfully unaware of some of the struggles that previous athletes have had there. Chief among them, Karandashev. And if you haven't seen that already, just rewind to Karandashev, bib number 16, and just watch him. He must have spent over a minute trying to do that route that Maltchikov so effortlessly did in one move. So, can't sit around and just enjoy the view. It's onwards and upwards for Maltchikov. He's got his foot caught in the rope a little bit there. Just the slight with the camera angle. Big reach up with the left. 2, 3. Gets it on the 3rd attempt. Steadied himself with the right. Still hanging off one arm. Takes his time just to kind of regain his poise. Into the figure of 4 there. Onto that hanging bollard of ice. Glistening in the sun, but I don't think we need to worry about it melting anytime soon. The temperatures when the competition started this morning was minus 14 degrees Celsius. Probably warmed up a little bit, especially now that it's in the sun. But I don't think Maltchikov will be feeling the cold right now. Got that Kruganogi. Matches with the left. Into figure of 4. So he's already in 5th place. It's looking good for him as he reaches up and gets that Kruganogi on that little volume there. The 13th quick draw. And it seems like every athlete is having rope drag issues there. I wonder if anyone will raise that. But it is what it is. Unless it's the fault of the B layer, it's not a technical issue.
На женской трассе готовится к старту Толоконина Мария, Российская Федерация.
I can just hear the commentator saying those magical words, Maria Tolokonina. I suspect she is about to begin her ascent. Malchikov makes number 14. He's in the top 5. If he can get 15, he moves into the 3rd place. He's into 3rd place. Just climbed above Duplinsky and Korochkin's high points. And already 16 is looking within reach. Has he got it? He has. He is now top of the leaderboard. Don't think we're going to see him relax, though. He's going to go all the way, as far as he can. We haven't seen an athlete top today. And that's Maria Tolokonina on the left. But this is Malchikov trying to get as high as he can on this route. Still in the fight. And he gets quick draw number 18. $22 old. Oh, he's lost his feet. He's trying to get. He gets number 19. That's amazing. Hanging, dangling off one arm. He makes the quick draw. I have to just double check whether he did get it within time. I'm not sure what the clock is doing, but gets that quick draw as he's just hanging off one arm. Very impressive indeed. She'll have to wait for the scores to be updated just to see if he gets that 16, whether it counts or whether it was outside the time limit. Either way, his place in tomorrow's finals is secure. So we go now to Maria Tolokonina. She is a woman who really needs no introduction at all. Let's just say most successful female athlete in the UIAA's history. 6-time World Cup speed champion, 6-time lead champion. So, but as every champion knows, you can't rest on your laurels and look at the trophies and medals in your cabinet. You've just got to keep training even harder. You've got to stay ahead. You've got to keep making those little marginal gains, fine-tuning the machine to stay ahead of the competition. You can never stay stationary. I once asked Tolokonina whether she ever got bored of winning. No, she replied, training, yes, winning, never. Just on that hanging ice now, looking to get off it, presumably. Big reach up with the left. She's just looking around, see which way. She does to cross over with the right and make that hold with the right, and then go into the figure of 9. Getting a right leg over that right arm over the right leg, excuse me. And then using the free right to move up through the holds. It's quite a thing, that sequence of moves, the figure of 4 to the figure of 9. But once an athlete has dialed that sequence and practiced it, which they always do in the gym, at home, it's a remarkably efficient sequence of moves, and that allows them to travel over steeply overhanging ground where basically there's nowhere to put your legs. So Tolokonina giving us a little bit of a masterclass in how to climb over hanging ice, well, upside down. Just got to get onto that hanging block next. She's already at the high point of Vlasova. Gets the right hand and commits to the move. And over now onto this hanging block. She clips number 16. She moves into top position on the leaderboard. Pulls the rope through, catches the quick draw, and does it first time. And that in itself is quite a skill. When your body is swaying, and when the quick draw, it's on a long leash that's swinging backwards and forwards. You do see some of the less experienced athletes spend time as she tops. She's done it. Both tools matched. Absolute master demonstration there from the Russian maestro, Maria Tolokonina. Absolute superlative athlete. So she is the first female athlete to top the women's route today, with just one more athlete to come, Daria Glotova. Looks like there's a little bit of a breeze as well coming through there. Maria Tolokonina. Yes. Thank you. I'll be having that, she says. See you tomorrow in the finals. Yeah. Now, who's this? It looks like Kuzovlev. Is that Kuzovlev? Nikolai Kuzovlev. He's got that move, sticks it, and now he seems a little bit stuck. He's got to get that right leg in, steadies himself. No, excuse me, it's not Kuzovlev. He comes afterwards. This is Artem Bazegzky, 32-year-old from St. Petersburg.
На женскую трассу к старту приглашается Глотова Дарья, Российская Федерация.
Another athlete who made it to Champagne in January, where he placed 10th in the lead. So he didn't make the finals in Champagne. But maybe without the Ludovin brothers here, without the French and some of those other European athletes, he has a better chance of making the finals for tomorrow. Dabai, Dabai, Dabai. So he's working his way up through this really steeply overhanging section of the structure onto hanging ice. And that's all about just dialing that technique, trying to find the efficiency, trying to keep the body from swaying around, keep the body as still as possible. Reaches up to get that 12th quick draw. Just taking his time. Reaches up, gets that Kruganogi hold with the right. Flawless precision there with his placement. And once it's good, it'll stay. Beautiful blue skies there. But he can't just stay there and admire the view. Now that is the point where athletes have been suffering rope drag. You can see just there where the rope is getting stuck in that corner. So it's not an issue now. It gets, it's going to get the right hand. So it gets that, should get that, this next hold with the right. But he's already struggling. His strength, you can sense, is waning, a little bit depleting. So if this move was lower down the route, he would have it no trouble at all. But you can sense now the fatigue has clearly set in now. I mean, this is clearly it's a hard move, but for someone of his ability, it should not be too challenging. Just hasn't got the reach. We can hear the judge now. Is that his time being called? I think it is. Artem Bazegski. He's still in the fight, but he just can't seem to reach that red hold. It's all over for Bazegski. Still, that should be enough to see him through into tomorrow's finals. Just ran out of juice. So Daria Glotova now is the last of the women to take her place in the semi-finals here in Kirov. Artem Bazegski. Nikolai Kuzovlev will be coming out of isolation now. So Daria Glotova, 16 years old, youngest athlete here today. And she is on form. Last weekend in Tyumen, she won the speed and the boulder in the under-19 category. So despite her young age, she's an extremely dangerous and threatening athlete. She's already on the upper section now of that route. Her place in tomorrow's final guaranteed. But let's see how far she can go. She's been competing since 2017. Since the age of 12. Big reach over there with the right. Onto that hanging ice. Gets her body onto it. This particular bollard doesn't look too evil. It's not swinging around too wildly. But there's just nowhere for the feet to go except over the hand into that figure of 4, figure of 9 combination. Doing that just helps to keep the tool weighted down. And it helps to keep you in more of an upright position to allow you to make the next move. Where we're having a couple of dropouts with the live feed, so we do apologise there for those technical glitches. We have technicians working on it, but fundamentally the cables don't like the cold. So, and onto this hanging block. Top within touching distance with just a few seconds remaining on the clock. Can we see a top from Daria Glotova? She's just trying to figure out the moves. Shakes out the left arm. Just one last sequence of moves to top this route. Only one other athlete has done that. That's the one and only Maria Tolokonina. Can Daria Glotova succeed? Done it once. Can she match? She's done it. What a magical performance there from the young athlete, setting up an absolute showdown for tomorrow. And wonderful to see the experienced athlete Maria Tolokonina, the absolute veteran, and up against now the young talent coming through the ranks. The teacher and the protege. That promises to be a great battle tomorrow. And make sure you tune in for the finals. Local time, 10 a.m. Great performance from Glotova. 4th year competing. Look at that. Confidence, blows a kiss at the camera. Now this is Nikolai Kuzovlev, if I am not mistaken. It is indeed. And he's at this route's crux. That big move from the roof. And you've got to get yourself into that swinging motion. And he gets it. His right leg's just caught over the rope. Gets the feet in, effortlessly done. So Nikolai is a hugely experienced climber. Finished the World Tour last year in 2nd place. Slightly flunked China, but otherwise recovered in Korea and Saas-Fee with 2 2nd places respectively to finish the tour in 2nd place. So he gets that 11th quick draw, which already guarantees his place into tomorrow's final. So it looks like Karandashev is out. Excuse me. Karandashev will be kicking himself. He just couldn't get past that roof. He spent so long trying. And if you haven't seen it already, do rewind. Karandashev's epic battle. But alas, it was in vain because he will be booted off the top 8 by Kozlovlev, now moving up onto the 12th quick draw, showing every signs he's got more in the tank. Very nice, effortless climbing there from Kozlovlev. Interesting choice of music from the Russian DJ. He's a little bit too relaxed almost. On the other hand, maybe it's quite appropriate for Kozlovlev because he makes it look so effortless. Just looking relaxed, calm, confident. Just reaches up, places his pick, waits till it's absolutely secure before extracting his foot. Gets into the next position. Makes the next quick draw. And then straight on to the next move. He's just cruising up here. Quick draw number 15. Oh no, and he's off. What happened there? Did his foot come loose? He's in tomorrow's finals, so his place is secure. Minute 20 remaining on the clock. He could have topped with that. What happened? His pick wobbled. He got a bit of pick wobble there. And is it his right leg that just ripped? Just popped. Well, one of the hazards of the game. He's looking up as if to wonder what went wrong. But there's a smile on the face. He's happy. He's in tomorrow's finals. He'll be there. Will you be there? So the women have finished. So we've just got 2 more climbers to come from the men. And that is Igor Zinoviev. He will be next up. And then the one and only indomitable Mohammad Reza Safdarian, all the way from Iran. You'll have to wait till the end to see him. He will be last up. Now we're seeing the women. So those who didn't make the cut, Valeria Bogdan, Alexandra Ovchenkova, Natalia Kulikov, and Polina Obakarova, sadly do not make the finals. But those who did, from the bottom, Irina Nikitina, Aneta Luzheka makes it from Czech Republic, Irina Dubovtseva, Yulia Filatova, Anastasia Ashtakova, Katerina Vlasova, Maria Tolokonina, and Daria Glotova. They all go through to tomorrow's finals, which kick off at 10 a.m. local time. That's 7 a.m. UST. So Igor Zinoviev now. He comes out of isolation, sheds his layer. Another young athlete coming up through the ranks, 18 years old. So he was 12th in Champagny. Didn't make the finals there. He will be hoping that changes today. It makes easy work of these opening moves. He's on the scoreboard with quick draws 1 and 2. Quick succession into that Stein. And up he moves. moving very efficiently through these opening moves. Just not hanging around at all. So he needs to get beyond Karandashev's high point, which was the 10th quick draw and the 14th hold. But still to come is that roof. Crabs across to the left. Very nicely done. Really see the sun out today. Not that there's much warmth in it. So just got that tool in the floating position there. A little bit more unstable than a Stein. But Zinoviev doing very well on that first section of the route. Now the fun and games begin. Angle steepens. The obstacles become more challenging. He's onto that first hanging block of ice. Matches hands on the tool. Gets the legs over. That's number 8. So he needs to just swing the legs over. And then with a big reach, get that red hold off to the right. Hasn't quite got it. On the first attempt, second attempt, third, he's there. Just checks it, gives it a good pull, and he swivels the body round. And he's back on terra firma once again. Struggling to retrieve his tool there. So back on terra firma, even if it is completely upside down. So here is the crux. So he's had one stab at it, and he realizes now the challenge that lies ahead. He's got a sense of the difficulty. Got the height, not the precision. He just tries to steady himself. It's for a slightly different hold now. Gets into swinging. And rests. So he's got the right combination there with his well, it was with his with his right leg over the left arm. That does seem to be the way that most athletes are getting this hold. So the right leg's going back over. Right leg over left arm. Here we go. Gets into a swing and he sticks it. He's done it. Now he should have enough time to get into the top 8. The question is whether he has enough strength. You can almost imagine the Russian dancers with this music. The shots of vodka, no doubt. Going round, Cossack dancing. Big reach there with the left. Sticks it just as the screen cuts out, but Zinoviev is still in the fight. Once again, we do apologize for these technical glitches. We've worked very hard to try and eradicate them. But we're back on now. Watching Igor Zinoviev, this young 18-year-old, as he gets quick draw number 12. And that gets him into tomorrow's finals. And it looks like Anton Yemov will be booted out of the top 8. He is being asked to make way for this youngster, 18-year-old. The veteran Yemov making way for Zinoviev. Just tries to compose himself a little bit, get summon the last reserves of energy just to surmount this roof. The difficulties don't get any easier as you climb on this route. Very technical. Every move requiring precision. Once again, another athlete having an issue of the rope catching on that corner. Fortunately, he manages to resolve it quite quickly. He's on quick draw number 13. Still time left on the clock. The top is, it's within, not quite within reach, but he will certainly be starting to wonder whether it's within his possibility to top today. Still some way to go. Just needs to focus on each individual move in front of him. Trying to conserve energy as much as possible. At least not to drain energy needlessly. And that means slowing it down. Being precise with the movements. No, and he's off. Just lost his footing there. So Igor Zinoviev goes into the final, and it looks like Anton Yemov is out. Zinoviev will be at least happy with that performance. Tried to walk his feet up, but they didn't have the purchase that he thought they did. So he can now rest for the rest of the day and start to focus on the finals tomorrow. Now we need a drum roll. Waiting for the next climber to come through. All the way from Iran, Mohammad Reza Safdarian.
Старту на мужскую трассу приглашен Савдарян Мохаммад Реза, Республика Иран.
Keeping us waiting like a rock star. Here he is. 28 years old. So he won the Asia Cup last month in Tehran. And he had a really disappointing season last year. He went into Sasfe in first place. And it was looking really good that he could have won the whole world tour. But he crashed out in Sasfe and ended up in fourth place. So that was a crushing blow for Mohammad Reza Safdarian. Now, if you're new to competition ice climbing or dry tooling, you could do worse than just watch videos of this guy. He doesn't have the longest reach. He's not very tall at all. He's about 5'2". But that is no handicap at all. One of the strongest performers on the world tour. Been competing now for about 7 years. And he's just make steady work now of this first section on this slightly overhanging ramp. He's just got a little bit of a hanging undercling. Moves very quickly and effortlessly through this opening part. Can he get that? He does. So just using a reverse grip there with the right hand, and then matches with the left. Again on the reverse grip. It just deploys the stronger, bigger muscles that are found on the back. That's why you see athletes going for a reverse grip. It's just a natural instinct. You have more strength there. So just knock that leash out. That can be expensive in time and energy. So just seeing the men's leaderboard as it stands at the moment. So, Mohammad Reza Safdarian, let's see how he does at this move, which has really proved so difficult for many of the climbers today. He doesn't have the reach first time or the second. Steadies himself. He's had 3 attempts to see the difficulty. He really needs to just get into a good rocking motion. Tries to change his feet. Put the left over the right. Shake out the left. Just grabs the tool a little bit higher up now. Mohammad Reza. He's finding it difficult. Just can't quite work out. He just hesitates before committing. Yes, and he sticks it. Gets the feet in. Took his time there, but on a move like that, you don't want to risk coming off. So he took his time, making sure he had the right position, resting his arms individually, getting into the right rocking motion, and then committing, and he managed to make it stick. So straight away, he is past and moved beyond there. So he needs to get higher. He needs to get onto the 12th quick draw and beyond to guarantee his place into tomorrow's final. Still 3.5 minutes remaining. Into reverse grip there, figure of 4. So there are the standings currently. Anton Yemov looking like he will not make the finals tomorrow. 12th hold is the one to make. Safdarian not looking quite as confident as we have seen him in the past. He's sometimes taking 2 or 3 attempts to make the move, and that is costly both in time and energy. Reaches and gets himself onto the hanging ice now. He's still got time to just guarantee his place in tomorrow's finals. Of course, he will be looking to go further and get as high up the leaderboard as possible. But atop at this stage, I'm not sure whether he's got the time for that. Gets the 12th quick draw. And he just needs to move beyond that. Gets the Kruganogi with the right. Artem Bezegsky had a high point of 12.17. But it looks like Mohammad Reza is suffering. He is fatigued. Just clinging on there. Got to get his feet in. He's struggling. The strength isn't there. You can see it in his forearms. He's doing all he can now to hold on. Has he got it? No, he's off. Just ran out of strength, but it is enough to see him into tomorrow's final. Ranked alongside Artem Bezegsky. Either exactly matched or just ahead or below. But he struggled a little bit on that route. He wasn't nearly as comfortable as some of the other athletes that we saw. Only getting to the 12th quick draw, in contrast to Vadim Malshchukov, who got to 18. So that brings to a close today's semi-finals action. Mohammad Reza gets his jacket back on. He'll at least be happy that he lives to see another day. We were just waiting for the results, the final tally, the scoreboard to update, and then we can reveal who goes through to tomorrow's finals. So in first place, Vadim Malshchukov, Ivan Lushenko, Nikolai Primarov from Switzerland. And then we have the Russians Nikolai Kozovlev, Georgy Duplitsky, Igor Zinoviev, Ilya Kruchkin, and Mohammad Safdarian Reza all go through to tomorrow's finals. And those who don't will have to live to fight another day. That shows the lead finals for tomorrow. Thank you for watching. We are back. 10 o'clock is when the finals kick off. So thank you for watching, and we will see you again then.